Here's your wrestling news for May 21st, 2022, and your headlines for today include: the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships are finally unified on last night's edition of SmackDown. What happened after last night's SmackDown went off the air? NXT 2.0 superstar gets new name after official main roster call-up on SmackDown. Sasha Banks and Naomi suspended, stripped of their WWE Women's Tag Team titles. WWE pulls all merchandise for Banks and Naomi from WWEshop.com. Impact Wrestling Knockout says she applauds Banks and Naomi for walking out this week. AEW star out of action with injury, no sign when he'll be back. Edge teases bringing in retired former Divas champion as next member of the Judgement Day, and more. We're kicking off today with SmackDown, as going into the show the focus was on the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships. After being promoted for WrestleMania Backlash, a promise WWE reportedly never planned on following through with, the match between the Usos and RK Bro did happen on last night's show. With Paul Heyman, the self-professed warden of the Uso Penitentiary, on commentary, the four men had what can only be called a Match of the Year candidate. A back-and-forth match which justified why RK Bro and the Usos have been given as much screen time as they have in recent months. The finish came when Riddle attempted an RKO off the top rope, but the match was interrupted by Roman Reigns. Assisting Jay, it was the Uso who hit the splash on Riddle, pinning the original Bro to get his history-making win. The action didn't stop there, as post-match, the Bloodline assaulted the now former Raw Tag Team Champions, who were left in tatters at ringside. Now, the Bloodline has even more gold in their collection, and while the result wasn't too surprising given that WWE accidentally spoiled the result on Twitter the day prior, this is still a fantastic match. This was a huge way for SmackDown to end its show, but the in-ring action didn't stop when the cameras stopped rolling. In a post-show dark match, two of Raw's top superstars made the trip to SmackDown, as Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair defended her title against Rhea Ripley. Belair got the win with the KOD to send the crowd home happy, but WWE didn't waste time in promoting other shows. In an advertisement only at last night's SmackDown, it was announced that Cody Rhodes will face Seth Rollins at the July 25th Raw, which will air from WWE's old stomping ground in Madison Square Garden. Given that WWE are advertising the match, it's unclear if it'll take place on the show or, like the Ripley-Belair bout, will only be for fans inside the Garden and take place after Raw. WWE is desperate to get fans to fill seats, and seeing a WrestleMania-quality match live is one way to do just that, as the company continues to claw back fans they've lost in recent years. More from SmackDown, as over the past month, LA Knight has appeared in dark segments, recruiting talent to his Knight model management stable. This week, Knight made his official call-up to SmackDown, but did so under a brand new name. Confronting Adam Pearce, Knight was introduced as Max Dupree and insisted that his modeling agency will be a big deal in WWE. Prior to his debut and name change, Dupree had aligned himself with Mace and Mansoor, though neither competed on last night's edition of the Blue brand. Of course, call-ups from NXT have been hit and miss in the past, and it's just as possible that Dupree will be released in 6 months, as there's a chance he'll be a success, but for now, the former Impact World Champion has a new name and a new team behind him. During this week's Raw, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of WWE, forcing the company to change their plans for the main event of the evening. Other than a statement put out on social media, the company had remained virtually silent on the matter, but that all changed last night. On SmackDown, Michael Cole addressed the matter, saying that the two have been suspended indefinitely and that the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships have been vacated. Cole added that a tournament will be held to crown new champions and that Banks and Naomi had let everyone down with their actions this week. This marks the first time ever that the titles have been vacated, and WWE has given no indicator on when this tournament will get underway. All we know now is that Banks and Naomi are no longer the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, bringing the Boss's third reign and the Glow's first to an abrupt, controversial end. Fans won't be seeing Sasha Banks or Naomi on WWE TV anytime soon, and they won't be seeing any merchandise of the controversial former champions. If you go to WWEshop.com and search for either woman, you're directed to a page saying you've reached parts unknown, indicating that all merchandise for both women has been pulled. In an update from Sean Ross Sapp, it was confirmed that neither woman has been released, despite having the merch pulled from the website. As two of WWE's most popular female performers, we're sure that Banks and Naomi make a nice bonus through merchandise sales, but now nobody will be buying shirts, posters, or anything else associated with either woman. Banks and Naomi have reportedly zero support backstage from either management or the roster, but there are some outside the company who are on the duo's side. Speaking to Busted Open Radio this week, Impact Wrestling's Mickie James was asked about her thoughts on the walkout and said she stands with her fellow wrestlers. "I actually applaud them standing in their convictions and how they felt. If they felt disrespected or they felt unheard or they felt any of those things, I mean, at the end of the day, we still are independent contractors." Discussing the statement WWE put out about the two, James said she was a bit shocked that WWE would publicly acknowledge the matter and said she couldn't believe Vince McMahon agreed to the statement. Mickie James knows a thing or two about being disrespected by WWE, as fans haven't forgotten the infamous trash bag incident following her release from the company, so it should come as no surprise that she's sticking by Banks and Naomi. Over to AEW now, as earlier this week, Anthony Bowens put out a cryptic tweet saying he was going to perform on Dynamite, but the opportunity was taken from him. After this tweet, fans speculated on who took his spot and whether Tony Khan was a factor in the decision, but we now know how exactly the chance on Dynamite was taken from the Acclaimed's member. In another tweet, Bowens confirmed that during an attack on this past Monday's Dark Elevation, he injured his knee and will need to undergo surgery to fix it. This isn't the first time Bowens has suffered an injury, as in 2016, a concussion derailed all plans for him in NXT. Bowens, who signed a 5-year contract in November 2020, gave no indication of when he'll be back in the ring, but we're wishing him the best on the road to recovery. Now on June 27th, in just 39 days, John Cena will have reached 20 years since his WWE TV debut, interrupting Kurt Angle with a declaration of ruthless aggression. With John's career in Hollywood continuing to grow, Cena has become less and less available for WWE appearances, but that doesn't mean he's finished with the ring just yet. Sitting down with Adam's Apple, Cena discussed a possible return and teased it could be very soon. "I know in WWE years I turned 20 pretty soon, so that's a pretty big thing. And from a pretty storied class of folks, Batista, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, who kind of all turned 20 this year. I'm aware that's coming around the corner, and who knows?" Cena's last televised match in WWE was against Roman Reigns in a losing effort against the Tribal Chief at last year's SummerSlam. For what it's worth, United States Champion Theory has been teasing a match with John, sharing a graphic of a match card on social media, and while the 16-time world champion is focused on establishing his Hollywood career, he's not finished with wrestling just yet. Back to WWE, and the Judgement Day has been around for just a few weeks now, but the group already has some impressive members. The group already consists of Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley, but now one very interesting name may be joining the faction. On social media, Edge shared a picture of Paige and gave no explanation behind the tweet, leaving fans to speculate that she could be the newest member of the Judgement Day. This tweet comes days after Edge shared an image of Ciampa, who's been rumored to be joining the stable for a few weeks now. Paige's last match came back in 2017, where she suffered an injury during a WWE live event that would force her to retire from the ring in April 2018. Despite this, Paige has always insisted that she would one day wrestle again, ironically having been inspired by Edge's own comeback, and it may be a matter of time before the two work side by side. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.